One of the most anticipated heavyweight clashes between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois has come to an end, and the boxing community already predicted the outcome.
Terence, was it a shock, what you watched?
No, not at all. I always stated that the better man was going to win today, and Dubois was the better man. He capitalized on Joshua's faults, and he won the fight.
Got belief in him, and I said from the beginning the tactics of this fight was to put the other guy on the back foot, and it's about the back. It was going to be about who can control the fight with a jab. Daniel did that from the first bell, and that was the key to it. And as I said, in plenty of interviews with him, I said the fighter that goes on the back foot will get beat.
Yeah, you did say who lands the first shot, and Daniel really was the boss from the first round for him.
He was, but he had to enter. He had to go and stamp his authority on the fight, and that's what he did. He stamped his authority.
Opponent, but credit to him and his team. We rolled the dice at success and we come up short, but I want to say, everyone in Wembley, I appreciate you coming out this evening. You know I'm pissed. You know I'm ready to kick off in the ring, but I'm going to keep my cool and keep very professional and give the respect to my opponent.
Yes, Tyson.
It's heavyweight boxing, boys. It happens. You get knocked spark out. It could have been me, it could have been you, it could have been anybody. In the heavyweight division, it's what happens. One punch away from being smashed, knocked out.
What went wrong, you feel, with the game plan that Joshua had in that
I
first
think
round?
what went wrong is what always goes wrong in heavyweight boxing. Good right hand on the end of the chin. And that was it.
Can he come back from this, Tyson?
I don't know. Listen, it's up to the man, and whatever he wants to do. If he's got a good ambition to come back again and do what he's got to do, I don't know. Listen, he'll have to make his own decisions. He's a big boy, isn't he?
What did you really think? You didn't give us your opinion earlier, but generally, art of arts, what did you think was going to happen tonight?
I thought it was a 50-50 fight. God's honest truth.
Unbelievable.
Right? What went wrong for
Just what I
AJ, in your
thought.
opinion?
I said to Joe Cordine, the next way I said he needs to throw some backhands. He threw a backhand, and then the minute the fight was over, unbelievable.
Wow. So, in your opinion, where does AJ go from here, Ricky? Where do you want to take him?
I'd like to see him retire as a friend.
Yeah?
I don't want to, he's been a two-time world champion. He's done the country proud. I'd like to see him hang his gloves up and enjoy his retirement.
I'm sure he'll exercise that rematch clause. I mean, I think that's a given, but he'll need a rest. And it's a dangerous fight. This guy's growing in confidence all the time. But he'll believe he can hurt Dubois. He'll believe he can beat him. But full credit to Daniel Dubois. He deserves all the credit tonight. It was a great performance from Daniel.
You know, behind the scenes, the work with my dad, all my family and, my strong team here, they've helped me get through this. So God bless you all, man.
Dillian, did that surprise you that tonight?
No, I'm not surprised. Heavyweight boxing, mate.
What do you make of Daniel Dubois and how he's got on the past few years? He's really sort of...
Done really good. Just thank you so much.
Right, pick this back up. Obviously, Dubois has been through a lot in his career. When you see a story like this, obviously you've been through your ups and downs as well. Just heavyweight boxing. None of this surprise you tonight at all?
No. It's heavyweight boxing. You got two guys who can punch. They're massive punches. So, these things can happen.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the fight, bro?
Man, it's a boxing. It's the boxing game. It's the fight game. It's the heavyweight division. Anything can happen.
What went wrong for AJ, man?
Man, one punch can change the whole night.
Yeah.
Come on, Dad.
Just overall, how'd you feel Dubois fought in there?
He fought a good fight. He won.
Yeah.
He knocked him out when he was hurt, so he fought a good fight.
I think, man, crazy result, right?
It was a great fight. I think Joshua, got overconfident.
Yeah.
He hurt him. He hurt him with a shot and went for the kill, but he forgot about his defense and forgot, about the fundamentals.
What would you like to see each do? Where does Joshua go from here, bud? Where does Dubois go from here?
I don't know.
Cut it on.
I'm lost for words. Daniel said he was going to knock him out in the 6th round. He did it in the 5th. And I'm so happy because I want to go to bed.
Stan, you said it was...
Dan, you said it was your son. You said it was your son's destiny. This
is his destiny. That's why we came out with Daniel in the lion's den. That's why we came out with Daniel in the lion's den. I'm a great believer. I'm a great believer. I've got a lot of faith. And I knew tonight was Daniel's night.
He was so
because
dominant.
Everyone was saying he was going to get knocked out. And now they all got quiet and left the venue in 10 seconds.
You know what? On that note, I'll let you finish.
Yeah.
Congratulations, yeah?
Round one, obviously Joshua floored in that first round. Your thoughts on that?
Hey, he came to fight, and you can see it in his eyes. He wasn't leaving out the ring without that victory.
Can Joshua come back from this?
I don't know. Joshua been in a lot of wars. He fought a lot of great fighters. I think he can, but you know it's going to be tough because he got a lot of wear and tear on his body coming into this fight.
Were you impressed with Daniel Dubois?
Sorry?
Were you impressed with Daniel Dubois tonight? Good performance?
Yes, good performance.
How much are you looking forward to the Tyson Fury fight in December?
I don't think about it because I think only my prepare. My wife, my child.
Did you speak to Tyson tonight?
That was insane.
Yeah, it was insane, man. You know, once it got caught, mate, from the early doors, we said whoever learns the first punch, they're going to win. And he done that, mate. And he done that, and he done it well.
Connor, what'd you think?
Crazy.
Connor, my guy.
Yes, bro. Wild, man.
What went wrong for AJ?
I'm not sure. That's something for him and his team to find out, but that was wild.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But listen, when you got big punches in there, anything can happen. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them things, man. It's crazy.
Where does AJ go from here?
Congrats, bro.
Does he beat Usyk in a rematch? Does he beat Fury if they were to fight?
Wait, Dubois fought Usyk?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with the low
body
blow.
punch,
The low
yeah.
blow. Yeah. It's the heavyweight division, man. Them guys can all fight each other, beat each other. One can beat one, the other one can't beat. It's just.
Robert Garcia recognized the strengths that Anthony Joshua brought to the ring and believed his former fighter had the potential to become heavyweight champion. It is a close fight because we can't underestimate a world champion. Nobody can. Nobody should, said Garcia when speaking to Boxing King Media. But personally, I think the activity, the confidence he built in his last 4 fights, it's enough to turn it into an easy fight. I think Joshua wins comfortably, and I think he wins by knockout. Mark Tibbs mentioned that the more he considered the fight, the more he viewed it as a 50-50 matchup. He pointed out that while AJ's extensive experience made him the favorite, he also recognized Dubois' improvements. He noted that both fighters had some defensive vulnerabilities, but he believed it would definitely be an exciting bout.
Smashing fight, a terrific fight. The more and more I think about it, and you know, the more and more I'll make it a 50-50. AJ obviously got the wealth of experience and double world champion and been everywhere, Olympic gold medalist, etc. So obviously he's the favourite. But Daniel's certainly got weapons of mass destruction, and he's got to land them first, fast and hard though. So defence is a little leaky on both of them, and vulnerable. But you know, it's going to be a great fight. Can't wait for that.
Jerry Forrest believed that Joshua had the potential to defeat anyone. He emphasized that Joshua was always eager to learn and remained humble, continually striving for improvement despite already holding all the titles. Forrest was confident that if Joshua continued to progress in this manner, he would achieve victory.
I got my money on Joshua versus anybody. Besides myself, I believe Joshua can beat anybody. He's the truth. He wants to get better. He's very receptive. He listens. He's a good guy. Even when I come into the gym, I'm not a world champion. He had all the titles. He's listening to me in the sense of, let's take the advice, you know? So he's a humble humble guy that's
Daniel Dubois to cause a huge upset when he faced Anthony Joshua. Mackenzie, a fighter who won world titles in 3 weight classes, liked what he had seen from Dubois, but he picked Joshua to retain his title. I don't know if he's the people's favorite, and I don't know if he's the bookie's favorite, and I don't gamble, but if I did right now and I had to pick one person to win this particular fight, I'm slightly leaning towards Dubois, said Mackenzie when speaking to TalkSport. He further added, when you look at the last several fights that they've had, AJ's had the softer ride in. Dubois has the more natural athleticism about him. He's more loose than AJ. He would have done his research on AJ and know how to beat him. Otto Wallin, who last faced Anthony Joshua, believed Daniel Dubois would encounter a difficult challenge. Wallin mentioned that if Dubois employed the same aggressive style he used against Filip Hrgović, he might run into issues. However, he also noted that adopting a more defensive approach could enhance Dubois' chances in the fight.
I think that if Dubois comes out like he did in his last fight, got hit with a lot of shots from Hrgović. If he does the same with Joshua, I think it's going to be an early night. I think that Joshua is going to win within the first 5 or 6 rounds, if that happens. But if Dubois comes out with a little better defense and can hit Joshua with a few good shots, maybe make him doubt himself, then I think it could turn into a good fight. But it all depends. If we all seen Joshua's power with Ngannou, so if he hits Dubois with those kind of shots and keeps hitting him, then it's going to be an early night. But I think that Dubois is a good fighter, so if he can come out and land a few shots himself, then it could turn into a good fight.
Trainer Shane McGuigan believed Daniel had the capability to knock out any heavyweight in the world at that moment. He emphasized that Daniel's speed and balance could be key factors in securing it. Malik Scott was confident that Anthony Joshua would become a 3-time heavyweight champion in his upcoming fight against Daniel Dubois the following week. As the trainer of former world champion Deontay Wilder, Scott had studied both fighters closely and firmly believed that Joshua could secure the win. Joshua has a solid base, good boxing skills, and a great coach in Ben Davison. He's highly motivated and dangerous right now. I do think Dubois has trouble with that defense, said Scott when speaking to Genting Casino. He further added, but Dubois has surprised me lately, especially when he weathered the storms against Filip Hrgović and Jarrell Miller. But Joshua is just different. If I were a betting man, I'd put my money on Joshua stopping him between rounds 4 and 7. Carl Frampton stated that it would be an intense fight, predicting that someone would likely be knocked out. He noted that while AJ was the favored fighter, he wouldn't be shocked if Dubois ended up winning.
Coming through the adversity that he came through in his last 2 fights probably gives him more of a chance. I think that certainly AJ's the favourite. They're heavyweights and Dubois is brave. And what I can guarantee is someone gets knocked out. And I think someone probably gets knocked out in the first 6 rounds, if I'm being honest. You have to favour AJ, but wouldn't surprise me if Dubois does it. They're big men, big athletic men, and anything can happen.
Prince Naseem Hamed, a renowned figure in boxing from these shores, was anticipated to be present at the event. Beforehand, he provided his prediction to pro boxing fans.
Just that AJ Dubois prediction, Naz, who wins?
The AJ, you know what? I think AJ wins, to be honest, by KO.
Naz, thank you very much.
Kevin Lerena, who faced Dubois at a London stadium in 2022, came close to victory after dropping him 3 times in the first round, only for Dubois to ultimately knock him out. Lerena believed Dubois would be a tough challenger for Joshua in their upcoming fight. Yes, he lost to Usyk, but look what Dubois has done to Jarrell Miller and Filip Hrgović in his last 2 fights. He's riding the crest of a wave, confidence is sky high, and he's a serious heavyweight at the moment, Lerena told the Toe to Toe podcast. Lerena further elaborated that he viewed it as a 50-50 fight, as both fighters possessed significant punching power. However, he leaned towards AJ, citing his athleticism and remarkable performances in the ring as key advantages.
To be honest, Anthony Joshua is a phenomenal fighter, and I rate AJ highly. Super athletic, very strong, explosive. But if I look at, if we had to go and break it down, it's truly a 50-50 fight. The reason why I say that is because it sounds cliche, but both guys can punch. Both guys are good finishers, okay?
Adam Morale believed that for Daniel Dubois to achieve victory over Anthony Joshua, he needed to enter the fight stronger and more resilient. He also pointed out that Dubois' youth could play a crucial role as an advantage on fight night.
And in order to win the fight, he's got to be around and alive and strong from round 9, 10 onwards. And I think his superior youth may play its part at that point.
Joe Joyce knew what it took to face Daniel Dubois, having defeated him in 2020. In addition to his experience with Dubois, Joyce had also sparred with Anthony Joshua several times. The 2016 Olympic silver medalist had felt the power of both fighters and believed that each hit hard in their own right. Raw power Dubois, but Joshua has that power too, said Joyce when speaking to Seconds Out. It's maybe a bit quicker. I remember him putting the hands together a bit more. Dubois is improving as well also, we're going to have to see on the night. Ricky Hatton expected Anthony Joshua to become a 3-time heavyweight world champion. I can only see Anthony Joshua winning, said Hatton. A lot of people will turn around and say it's an obvious statement, and we can all say as Joshua lands a punch on your chin, then he'll knock you out. But because he's happy now, not like when he fought Usyk and didn't look in a good place mentally when he lost the fight. He further added, he's with Ben Davison and is a very good thinking coach, a good tactician, and in his last few fights, he's known for being a heavy puncher, but he's added more fluency to his movement and his combinations of what he is letting go. Ben Shalom stated that he was a huge fan of Anthony Joshua. He thought that Joshua was a great athlete and felt very confident about the fight. He mentioned that Dubois had improved in the last 12 months, but believed that Joshua was still too much for him.
I think Anthony Joshua, I'm a massive fan of him, I have to say. Always have been. So great to see him back, great to see him looking so confident. Daniel's had a great 12 months, but for me, Anthony should be far too much. I really believe he's an elite heavyweight.
British boxer Scott Forrest shared a similar perspective about Anthony Joshua. He believed that Joshua had much more experience than Daniel and thought that Joshua's power was too much for him.
Has got too much on.
Paulie Malignaggi thought that Anthony Joshua would face some challenging times against Daniel Dubois, but he believed he would ultimately prevail. I lean towards AJ. He's got the experience and is fighting his best boxing right now, but it's a good fight, said Malignaggi when speaking to Canada Casino. I could see AJ getting hurt or even going down and getting up to win, possibly. It's a fight, man. I don't think it lasts long, maybe 5 or 6 rounds. Dubois will show his worth, but I don't think he'll win. Dubois himself explained that AJ had been the king for a long time and confidently predicted that he would be the king slayer.
You know, AJ's been the king for a long time, and you know, we all know he's been the king for a very long time, and on the night I need to become a king slayer, and that's my goal, and that's the mission at hand, so I'm just ready to go.
Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, congratulated Dubois for winning his last fight. He said that Dubois had been on his mind for a long time, and he was glad to finally get the opportunity to fight him. Joshua mentioned that he was focused on the fight and in peak form. He claimed that he didn't take any sort of drugs and used boxing to keep himself on track. Next man up. Congratulations to Daniel for winning his last fight, but we're here now. I went out to watch his last fight. It was a good fight between the two of them, and I picked Dubois to win as well. He came through, we're here, and Dubois has been on my mind for a while, and he will be for the next 12 weeks. Joshua continued, Dubois' name isn't like the way they mention Fury or Wilder, but I'm not silly either. I know the game, we're in the wild, we're a pack of lions. I can't just focus on them too, I've got to keep my eyes peeled. Whoever it was, I'd be ready to fight, but obviously it's Daniel now. I feel fresh, but I don't drink, I don't smoke. That's my only advice. Thank God I don't get into antics outside of boxing. I use boxing to keep me on the straight and narrow. It doesn't matter the ages were in peak condition. Age is just a number. Ben Davison emphasized that, if he was being honest, proper preparation and fighting the right way could lead to AJ knocking Dubois out early. He noted that this was not a slight against Daniel, whom he viewed as a good fighter, but he believed Dubois' weaknesses and strengths both played into Joshua's hands. Davison concluded that it was not a favorable style matchup for Dubois, regardless of timing.
Preparing properly and going about the fight the right way, because we do and we treat him with respect. I wouldn't be shocked if AJ knocked him out quite early. I wouldn't be shocked. And that's no disrespect, Daniel. I think he's a good fighter. Just being honest, I think his weaknesses play into Anthony Joshua's hands, but more importantly, I actually think his strengths play into AJ's hands as well. So I just think it's not a good style matchup. So people going on about, is it the right time, forget the time. I just think it's not a good style matchup for Daniel Dubois.
Adam Booth thought that AJ was the one with the experience and considered him a patient fighter who waited for the right moment to strike. He also acknowledged Dubois' right-hand power and stated that if Dubois came out aggressively, the fight would be interesting. However, Booth favored AJ to get his hands raised against Dubois because of his experience.
AJ has become really adept and really experienced in being more careful about how he goes about his work, that he doesn't take unnecessary charges, that he waits until the perfect moment to pick the shots, which can work massively in his favour. It could work in his detriment if he gets raided, where he wants that thinking time and he's not given that thinking time if Daniel decides to be really aggressive with his jab and with his right hand and letting it go freely. That's why I see it as a fight that really is close to being a flip of the coin, but because of his body of work and his experience at the highest level, I'd slightly favour AJ, but it's a great matchup.
Eddie Hearn stated that Dubois was dangerous and noted that while people were looking for ways to talk up his chances, they didn't need to. He recognized Dubois as a live underdog, but emphasized that he was an underdog for a reason. Hearn remarked that Dubois was not as good as Anthony Joshua and was not a complete fighter like Joshua. However, he acknowledged that Dubois was very dangerous, which was why people love to tune into heavyweight fights, as anything could happen. He's dangerous. People are looking for ways to kind of talk up Daniel Dubois' chances. You don't need to. He's a live underdog, but he's an underdog, and he's an underdog for a reason. He's not as good as Anthony Joshua. He continued, he's not a complete fighter like Anthony Joshua, but he's very dangerous, and that's why people love to tune into the heavyweights. Anything can happen. On the other hand, Frank Warren expressed that he had as much confidence in Daniel Dubois as Eddie Hearn had in Anthony Joshua. Warren acknowledged that the phrase, "styles make fights," was often seen as a cliche, but he believed everything changed once the bell rang. He was certain that Dubois would successfully defend his title against Joshua on fight night.
Eddie's very confident of Anthony, and I'm very confident of Daniel. We'll find out on the night. You know, styles make fights, all those cliches, everything. But you know what? Once that bell goes, they're going to get down on it, and it will be exciting. There's no doubt about it. They ain't going to be fiddling around trying to feel each other out. This is going to be warfare in the ring. That's what it will be. This is going to be a great, great fight. And this man here is going to be successful in defending his title. That is how I see the fight, and nobody's going to change my opinion on that. That's how I see it, and I believe he'll do it.
Lennox Lewis stated that it would be an epic fight, noting that both fighters could throw powerful punches and were heavy on their right hands. However, he emphasized that they first needed to establish their jabs. Lewis believed that whoever established their jab first would ultimately secure the win.
It ends, it's going to be an epic fight. Both guys can blast. They can throw great punches. They're right hand heavy. Both of them are right hand heavy. But first they got to line it up with the jab. So it's whoever establishes their jab first will establish the win.
Anthony Crolla was impressed by Daniel Dubois' power, but believed Dubois would come up short against Anthony Joshua the following month. The former lightweight world champion discussed the upcoming fight and gave Joshua the edge in the matchup. It's such an intriguing fight. My worry for Dubois is that AJ has a fantastic right hand, and although Daniel takes a good shot, it's another matter taking that right off Joshua in small gloves. He further explained, I do not rule out Dubois though. If he's still there after 4 rounds, then it could become his type of fight, and it's a real toss-up as to who has the heavier hands. I can't decide whether this fight will be over early or AJ catches up with Dubois late in the fight. It's not a foregone conclusion by any means, but I'm going with AJ to win by stoppage. Dean White believed that AJ was much stronger and bigger than Dubois. He stated that he would bet against Dubois, claiming that AJ was better than Dubois in every factor.
Don Charles has put some impetus in him. You know what I mean? He's come back and he's had about, three or four good wins against stellar names, but I'm not going to lie, and I betted against him and he's come out on top. Unfortunately, I'll be betting against him again, but this time, I'm sure I'll be on top this time. I'm sorry to say, because if you look at each department, AJ's better in each department. He's faster, he's stronger, he's bigger. If you look at the early rounds in that Hergovich fight, he was taking a lot of punishment, and I think if he lets AJ do that to him, it's good night, Irene, and he'll be stopped early rounds, I think.
Boxing never disappoints to bring drama and entertainment. Fans witness the two giants clash and much more. So, what are your thoughts on tonight's fight? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.